Hey everybody, I am actually out on a layover and I got a lot of questions in my email about the interview. So I was like, I have enough time to record a video. My camera is dead. So we're doing it the old fashioned way on my webcam from my laptop. And we're just going to get into it. I made a list of the most important questions that they will ask you in the interview. I also made a list of things you should wear for your interview. Then I'm going to include a picture of what I wore for my interview when I was hired as a flight attendant. So let's just go ahead and get into it. The first question that they will ask you is, what makes a great flight attendant? And you just have to really know what makes a great flight attendant. You can't just say, oh, a person who likes to travel. That's a part of our job, but it does not encompass our job. So when I answered, I said, what makes a great flight attendant is someone who is knowledgeable, personable, and approachable. So, oh, no, excuse me, knowledgeable, flexible, and personable. So, the reason why I said these three things is because knowledgeable, you have to know pretty much everything you need to know pertaining to your service, pertaining to your boarding, pertaining to your departure, your pre-boarding, your emergency equipment checks, and you have to be willing to. The flexibility goes into your knowledge, and the flexibility goes into your being a personable person. The flexibility goes into all that stuff, but you have to be knowledgeable because if there's an emergency or there's a situation and you don't know how to handle it and you don't know how to obtain the knowledge to handle it, then no, you won't make a great flight attendant. It's not retaining. You should retain an amount, but you should be knowledgeable enough to know where you need to go to get the information you need. There are flight attendants who are complete airheads that aren't very knowledgeable at all, and I still don't know how they have this job. But in the interview process, you need to be knowledgeable. You need to know. It's literally like a need to know basis. All of our stuff in our manual is need to know. That is not public knowledge. So, in your mind, you just need to know that you need to be knowledgeable and flexible with your knowledge. Know that one day it may be where you can do service with one person, and then 2 weeks later it may be like, oh, all of you need to be on one card at the same time. Just have the flexibility and have the flexibility to not always go where you want to go. There are times where I'm like, Jesus, I do not want to go anywhere cold. I get a call from scheduling, I go somewhere cold. And then personable, you will run into all personalities, not just from passengers, but from crew members. There'll be times where you will not work with the same people at all. Me and my roommate have worked together twice, once because we picked up and once because scheduling called us for the same trip. That was the only reason why. Other than that, we may not work together. Our schedules are completely different. So you will not always know somebody that you work with. And not only personal to the crew members and the flight deck captain and first officer, personal to your passengers. There are passengers coming in from all walks of life. And just a smile and a hello and welcome aboard and thank you for flying with us today can take a passenger who's probably irritated because they had to come to the airport 2.5 hours early, go through TSA. They magically had something that beeped every time they walked through the metal detector. They needed to get patted down. They had to check their bag because they were in zone 5 and there was no overhead space. And then they're in the back, in the middle, just angry about it. But just being that going that extra mile to help, brighten up their day. Hello, how are you? How's your day? This and the other. And they'd be like, "Mm." And you'll run into people who don't even say anything. They don't even acknowledge you. But it's being personable. It's like, man, she took the extra step to acknowledge me. You have those flight attendants who will be on their phone in the back galley or hide or don't want to help passengers. That's not what our job is about. Our job is about maintaining passengers' safety and maintaining a comfortable environment for passengers to enjoy their flight. So you have to be personable. Hey, if you're not, I don't know what to tell you. Don't go into customer service. Okay, the second question is, why do you want to be a flight attendant? My biggest recommendation to everyone is to never answer the question, I would like to travel and I'm good with people. Of course, you're going to travel and you're good with people. Why else would you be there? But that is the obvious answer. That is the most obvious answer in the world. And they're looking for somebody to mess up and be like, oh, I want to travel and I like helping people and this that, and the other. But that's not what it's all about. Why I wanted to be a flight attendant is because I wanted to take the skills that I learned in college, in the workforce, and then spread my horizons and become more, let's see, cultured within the customer service environment. So I have worked in retail. I have been a server. I have worked in an executive assistant. I have worked in customer service. So, and then I've studied fashion design. Fashion design has absolutely nothing to do with it, but it does help me maintain my appearance. I know what doesn't fit right, what looks right, what this, that, another. That is the notation of what my design background came into. But why I wanted to be a flight attendant was to expose myself to a worldwide network of how to develop my skills in customer service. And that is the main reason. And they were like, oh, but never, ever, 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 ever say that you want to travel and you're good with people. That is it. Obviously, as a flight attendant, you're going to travel and you're going to be around people. You obviously need to want to travel and want to be around people. So, why would that be your main answer? And then, if all 10 people are saying that, then who's going to stick out to even get a job? Oh, you guys all like to travel and are good with people. What else can you do? Okay. They're also going to ask you a question of it's going to either pertaining to how you dealt with a difficult customer in your past work experience or how you would deal with a difficult passenger as a flight attendant. Always have a reference. Don't decide you're going to be like, oh, well, if a passenger wanted Pepsi and I only had Coke and they got mad, I would just apologize, this, that, and other. Use an actual example. The example I used was from when I was a billing coordinator and a manager had typed in $10,000 instead of $1,000. And instead of him dealing with her, he contacted me because I was the one who was doing his billing. And this is the things I did. I listened. I actively apologized. I repeated his issues. I repeated back I told him what I saw in my system, how we can fix it, and then told him that I would do a follow up. So, my thing is, if they ask you how you're going to deal with something difficult, listen, apologize, be empathetic, not sympathetic, because sometimes you cannot fix it. Repeat back what they've said to you to actively show you are actively listening. Stay engaged, provide a solution, follow up. That is the perfect step to getting dealing with any type of difficult situation, whether it's a passenger, whether it's a coworker, is just that's the best answer to say. Because if you're like, well, I'll just fix it and then this, that, and the other and apologize. No, you listen, you repeat, you apologize, you provide solutions, you thank, and then you follow up to make sure they are still okay with the solution you provided for them. Because if you don't, they may get upset, like, oh, she didn't even check on me to see if I still thought this was okay. So, yes, don't just, those are the best steps to handling any type of negative situation. Um, 4 is, how do you respond to emergencies? If you're a panicker, this isn't the job for you. If you are a warrior, this isn't the job for you. If things make you, like, you may not be able to deal with blood or medical emergencies or throw up. I had a flight where 4 people threw up, but one person threw up on my galley floor, and I was looking like, who's gonna pick that up? Because I'm not picking it up. I don't do throw up. My son throws up, I'm gonna freak out. I'm like, why didn't you make it to the bathroom? Like, I just don't like throw up. But I know how to handle a situation where if I don't deal with throw up, you just work with your team. Um, just answer how you would deal with emergencies accordingly. Like, some emergencies may be minor. I had a lady's toe get stepped on, and her toe ended up broken in the middle of the flight. There was pretty much nothing we could do. That you don't set toes. You don't. Provided her bandages. We provided her ice, and we provided her pain meds to handle it. And then we had a, you know, paramedics meet her at the gate whenever we landed. There's just, the best way to say how you handle situations is provide a situation that was very strenuous and very stressful or was an emergency, and then tell them how you dealt with it. The last main question is, how do you deal with change? Things change all the time in this industry. You may go 2 days and then get an update that something is changing. So if you are not flexible, referring back to that first question of what makes a great flight attendant, if you are not flexible, you won't be able to deal with change. And if you can't deal with change, you won't be able to deal with being a flight attendant. That's just my honest truth. I see senior people all the time being like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But what they don't know is what you won't want to do, somebody is going to be on your heels, willing to do it and go above and beyond and change and be motivated by change and embrace change and all that. So, how do you deal with change? Are you okay with it? Are you a go with the flow person? Are you one person who, if it changes, do you need a little bit of time to figure it out? Are you more hands on with change? Or are you one person who sits back and tries to visually see it? Are you one that needs to be taught? Or it just depends. How do you deal with change? And if you say you don't like change, this isn't the job for you, because airline industries change all the time. I'm going on my year. You want to know how many changes I've dealt with? I can't even tell you, because it's been that many. But you just have to be flexible. I'm very go with the flow. And then not only how do you deal with change with your company, you're changing crews, you're changing passengers, you're changing planes, you're changing this is a constantly evolving job. Like you said, it's constantly in motion. You constantly be in different things. It's constantly changing. And if you are okay with being in a work environment that is constantly changing and most likely will always be evolving, because airlines are evolving, then you will do great. Okay, so those were the main questions that are discussed in interviews. This is my discussion about appearance for your interview. Ladies, look up a flight attendant, whether it's from the 90s, 70s, 80s. Look up a classic flight attendant. Don't do the whole scarf thing. You don't have to do that. But I'll insert a picture They'll probably be at the end of what I look like for my interview. Ladies, wear your hair up and out of your face so they can see those great cheekbones and that bone structure and those eyes and that beautiful smile. And wear some classic studs, whether they're pearls, diamonds, cubic zirconias, rhinestones, plastic beads, just a classic pair of studs, and then a classic necklace, whether it's a strand of white pearls or just a simple, just go with the white pearls. Don't even do anything else. Go with the white pearls. If you're not going to do the white pearls, don't do anything. A collared shirt, a nice, clean, crisp color. Don't go in Geranimal colors. Don't do it. Don't do it. Go as professional and as polished as you could ever be. Go as if you are already in the airline uniform, strutting through the airport like you own it. Go like that. I was in a black two-piece skirt suit with a white button up with a black stitching down the button seam with a light ruffle. The ruffle was very flat. It was just a very detailed simple collar, and it had like this little ruffle. Like I said, you'll see the picture. Makeup, minimal. You'll see a picture. I did a very soft eye with taupes and browns just to add a little pop of color. I did a light wash of eyeliner, some mascara. When you fill in your brows, don't do the super duper brows. You don't have to do all that. Just go as natural looking. Blush. You don't have to do the whole contour and all that. Just blush. A nice lip. I did a neutral lip. You can do a red lip. Don't go in MAC Heroin. Don't go in MAC Honey Love. Don't go in Lime Crime. Go as polished and professional. Literally take out a picture of a flight attendant you think you can accomplish that look. Put the picture up. Try to recreate that makeup look, and you go to your interview. If you wear a dress, take an extra pair of stockings. I've told you guys this multiple times. I tore my stockings during my interview, and thanking Jesus, something told me to take 2 pairs of stockings. I had my roller board with me, and I had my extra pair of stockings. Also, if you know your flight is 3 hours long to your interview, take a hanging garment bag or a rollerboard bag to your interview with your clothes and change in the airport bathroom. I don't want you to think that they're going to be okay with you being wrinkled because you just came from a flight. Don't do it. They're going to be like, "Oh, she can't even handle appearance." That's just it. Don't go in your house shoes. Don't go in your club shoes. Don't go in your 5-inch stilettos. Find a pair of heels. Fold $1 in half. If the heel is taller than that dollar, they're too tall. Go in something that you would wear, as we're not allowed to wear. Oh, it has to be at least an inch tall, but no more than 2.5. Just fold $1 up and hold it up next to your shoe. Go looking like a flight attendant. Go. The best example of fabulous flight attendants that I can tell you is Emirates. Emirates has beautiful flight attendants. They wear very natural looking makeup, a red lip. They do plastic studs. They look very classic, very, just because it looks dated to you does not mean it looks dated to the airline. Go looking like that. If you don't know what Emirates is, Google it. Google their flight attendants, and I bet you'd be impressed. You don't have to wear the hat. You don't have to do all that. Look the part in the face. That is about it with ladies. Gentlemen, If you have a beard, make sure your beard is trimmed. Do not go with a shadow. Don't be like, oh, I decided to grow a beard right before your interview. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That stubble is not it. Just cut it off and grow it in the process. Just go either clean shaven or your beard manicured. Go in a nice suit with a nice tie, whether it's I recommend wearing the company's library colors. Like my library colors are red, white, and blue. So a nice navy tie with red stitching and white stripe through, very minimalistic power ties. When I think of a great tie, think of a politician. How politicians wear those nice patriotic looking tie. Don't go Geronimo American flag on me. Just wear a nice looking tie. Make sure your shoes are polished. If you sit down and they see gym socks, dude, like seriously, don't go in gym socks. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just go to Walmart, Target, Jock Pinier. That's what my roommate calls JC Penney's, Nordstrom's Rack. I just had to buy a pair of socks from Nordstrom's Rack because I tore my knee high little stocking things. Get you a cheap pair of nice black socks or navy socks. Don't go in your Duranimal pinstripe suits, fellas. And if you're gonna wear color, wear a nice pastel, like a nice pastel blue or a nice pastel green, but stick with like white and black and charcoal gray or navy. Don't go in tan suits. Please don't do it. Don't go in pinstripe. If you have a Stacey Adams suit, don't do it. If you think that you can wear your suit for the Easter program at your local Baptist church, don't wear that either. Just go confident, go suave. If you have earrings, take them out. Gentlemen, I understand some of you guys pierce your ears. That's your decision. Don't wear them to the interview. Don't do it. Don't do it. Jewelry at a minimum. If you wear a nice watch, and if you're married, wear your wedding band. Just clean, classic look. I don't have a reference for men. Ithidod. Ithidod's has their men's uniforms are on point. Ithidod, and my best reference is international airlines have some of the most polished looking flight attendants. So look at those pictures. Look, because they're held under contract to look like that at all times. So if they look like that at all times, you know you need to look like that at all times and keep your appearance up. So if they see that you've taken the time to research how flight attendants look and you came in looking like a flight attendant, knowledgeable like a flight attendant, flexible like a flight attendant, personable like a flight attendant, you are guaranteed to get the job. I can't guarantee that, but that's what it takes to nail your interview. And not just personable between your interviewers and the people interviewing you, personal with these people who may possibly be your crew. So I'm normally silly, but I'm going to end on a serious note. You can do this. It is quite possible to make this dream come true. I did it. I did not nail my first interview, and I nailed my second. I literally did two applications. I interviewed one on a Thursday, one on a Monday. Saturday morning, I got the interview, the thanks but no thanks. I did not let that roll into my second interview, and I nailed it. It's the first person they called, and they called me and they were like, "Oh, we need to fix your application." I was like, "What did I do to my application?" But it wasn't that. It was they wanted to spend more time with me, and I got it. And you can too. Just keep focused, and you may not get it on the first try. You may not get a main line. You may work at a regional for a little bit. It doesn't matter. Just get your foot in the door. And it's quite possible. And like I always say, I love you and stay fly. Bye, guys.